Well, g'day, folks. God, 3 of you are already watching. How the hell does that happen? Hello to the 3 people that are already lined up. I'm not one of these folks that sits around and waits for, an accumulation of an audience. I just start talking. So there you go. Hope the 7 of you now are watching. Margot, Narelle, and Michelle. God, I don't know, girls. What are you doing? Lunchtime, is it? No, God, it's a bit late for lunch. Hey, thanks for watching, though. Really do appreciate it. This is just going to be a little quick one, just to let you know that tonight's show is not going to be on the channel you're probably watching it on right now. So, g'day, Crunch. Good to see you in too. Pardon me. I've recorded a show with a couple of Americans, and there is a lot of stuff in that show that we talk about that I fear the channels you are currently watching would ban me for. If I allowed to air there, as much as I would like to. On YouTube at the moment, I am little over a month away from being 0 strikes on the Nun 2K channel. And I think at the end of this month, I will be 0 strikes on the Voice of Freedom channel. Strikes, if you don't understand what that means for YouTube, it means they limit you. They limit you everything, your earnings or potential earnings, your potential exposure, your likes, your ability to share the program. They do all of that. And I'm not even sure that that's going to change once I get back to 0 strikes. You're only allowed 3 strikes, and I've had both of them balancing on 2 for the last 2 years at various times. Get back to 1, then they'd strike me on something else. And the problem is they go back and look at old content and reevaluate, and they usually find something wrong, pricks. So, that's just how it is. Everybody's piling in. G'day, Toxic, Norell, David, Scott, George is in the road, Jinder Lee. Sorry, somebody said they can expose the 28. I don't think the list is hidden, and I'm afraid it's a lot more than 28. But the 28 that they're referring to is an open list. It's not that it's not out. It's just that people who should be exposing it probably aren't. And well, I guess it hasn't been confirmed. That's probably the biggest thing talking about that. YouTube was never a good place, I don't think, Crunch, but thanks for that. G'day, Barbara. G'day, Silver Girl. Hope you're all doing well. Listen, so just want to inform you that the chat that I had today with the Cranker and Nick Ragone is going to raise, would raise the ire of YouTube, put it that way. So I have set it up already over on the YouTube channel. You will find it under Voice of Freedom or Ozai. You can search Rumble for that, or the link is in the description below because I've figured out how you do that. You set the other show up first. That's how you do that. So anyway, the link is in the description of this program. So that will be going to air at 6:30 tonight. Now, because it's a recording, I've scheduled it to play. That means I'll be in the chat there too while it's playing. And if it doesn't play, then I will have a backup plan, but that will necessitate me setting up another stream, I think. So I don't know. I haven't done it like this, so we'll just see how it plays out tonight. At least the audio will be working. Whether or not you see and hear anything, that's a whole different ball game. But anyway, the chat we have tonight is pretty good. Yes, they will delete your channels too with 0 strikes. I understand, Crunch. And this would probably be one of those times, if I'm honest. I mean, thank God I don't rely on YouTube for anything other than, hopefully as a way to reach a few people. And that channel particularly, the Nun 2K, as in N, think of nun, the flying nun, go to church and be slapped over the knuckles with a ruler nun. So spell it that way, put the number 2 and the letter K behind it. And that was actually the very first Voice of Freedom channel. If you're wondering what the Nun 2K stands for, it stands for News You Needn't Need to Know. That's what I was going to call it. I was going to do a if you like, a parody news series where I was going to actually tell you the real news and but hopefully add a few jokes and a few laughs into it. But the news you needn't need to know was a title too long for YouTube to accept, and I hadn't thought of anything else, so it got shortened to None 2K. There you go. That was well before the Voice of Freedom was conceived, and I think there is a way of changing the name on YouTube. I've just never really looked. So that is actually the main supported channel, if you put it that way. It has well, anywhere, if you believe YouTube, anywhere between 10 and 11,000 subscribers to it on any given day. And I say any given day because some days there's a few more, some days there's a few less. And I guess that's the same with most subscribers. But I know that very few people who actually subscribe to a program while one is going to air as a live, or indeed hit that like button, very few of them actually get noticed. So I don't know how many people we got. 64 people watching. Can we do a test? I am currently showing one person has liked the program. So there are 62 people watching. Can I get you all just to hit like now? And I'll see if this thing updates and I get any more than one like that was already on there. So thank you for the one that got through, whoever that was. But if all 62 of you right now hit like, I guarantee you that like number will not go up. And the same thing happens if you hit the subscribe button on the None 2K channel. They'll tell you that you're subscribed, but you're not. They throttle you. And of course, the Aussie Cossack has felt the power of that on so many occasions. It's not flash at all. Now, there is another link in the description below, and that is to John Wilson's speech at Coffs Harbour at the mega rally last weekend. So if you want to catch up with what John had to say there, it is a conversation about the log of claims. You're going to hear more about that this week too. The plan is, at least at this stage, for tomorrow night, John might come and join me here. We might take the studio outdoors, and I'm going to post up a video on the YouTube channels, probably that None 2K channel, very shortly. I'll try and post it up on the Voice of Freedom too, but I will post it up on the None 2K channel, and I'll dump it up on Rumble as well, just as a video upload. I did my very first unboxing yesterday. My very first, somebody sent me something and I unboxed it in front of a camera. So rest assured, once you see that upload, which I'll put up straight after this program, probably take half an hour or so to get it through, then you'll understand why tomorrow night could prove to be a little bit interesting if I've got John sitting out in the backyard. But we will be talking log of claims regardless, and he'll be giving you a bit of an update on where we are with that at the moment. If you want to catch up with his speech, as I say, that link is in the description below, along with a link to tonight's program. So warning, Will Robinson. There is a number of topics that we cover in tonight's program that just not going to bother trying to put on YouTube. That's just how it is. We do discuss this video. So this is supposedly a tornado, folks, and that factory is a Pfizer factory. A tornado. Okay, a tornado. Yeah, a lot of destruction, that's for sure. Isn't that an interesting V formation there, sort of toward the end of the fence, where it's sort of very interesting. So we have a bit of a chat about this tonight, and indeed that is the Pfizer factory, a production facility. Well, I'm not very au fait with tornadoes. I've not had a lot to do with them. But the two gentlemen that I speak to in tonight's show, they certainly know a bit more about them than I do. So I'm looking forward to letting you see that. We had to record it because of time differences. Otherwise, the boys would be sitting up until 2 o'clock in the morning or something stupid. So 35 likes. See, there you go. I'm seeing one here at the moment. So I don't know what I've got to do. Maybe I just have to refresh it. So or StreamYard isn't showing them. I know I'm going. Where am I putting this? I'm putting this on Facebook, on 2 channels on Facebook at the moment. It's on 1, 2, 3 YouTube channels. So it's on Voice of Freedom, VOI space CEFREEDIM. That's one channel. It's on Num2K, and it's currently running on the Voice of Freedom as well. And I have a Twitter account, which I don't do anything to, and I'm not sure that this actually streams on that. I don't think they allow that, but I always put the link up there just to annoy them. So that's the only places we're going at the moment. Thank you, Gary Holmes. There is a man. Freedom has always belonged to the people. They just are a bit unsure of what that freedom is, I think. Mate. That's probably the bigger thing. Great to see the Global Alliance at work, Narelle. Yes. We do discuss that a little bit in this evening's show as well. In fact, there's quite a lot we discuss in this evening's show that has to do with the Global Alliance. Of course, we discuss a bit about Operation Talisman Sabre, which is underway from the 22nd of July until the 4th, I think it is, of August. Now, that's happening predominantly across the top end of Australia. Draw a line across the top from Townsville, if you like, and anywhere north of that, you can expect to see an awful lot of military, and probably south of it, a lot of it on the roads. Tragically, yesterday in central Queensland, there was a major incident, car crash or accident on the Bruce Highway north of Rockhampton. It involved a truck that was hauling a military fuel tanker, and that tanker was apparently pretty well laden. It was a US fuel bladder, if you like, or a fuel tank, and for whatever reason, 7 vehicles involved. There was obviously a fuel spillage. I believe there was fire. I can't tell you whether or not anybody was hurt. I gather not so, because the news that I've been seeing, and I haven't seen much today, I've been doing interviews since very early this morning. I don't know if anybody was hurt or not, but yeah, weird. So there you go, folks. 43 likes now. Thanks, Toxic. And it's still showing 1 here on Facebook. Oh, maybe that's Facebook likes. All right, hang on a minute. Maybe I need to go and have a look at something else. Give me a moment here. This could get messy because audio loops being what they are. Yeah, okay, it's not going to give me that count there. So, no, okay, I can't see that. So, all right, obviously, I'm only seeing Facebook likes, and probably from only 1 channel, I'm guessing, from by the look of it. So, thank you, everybody, for the test. I'll go and try and find out where those likes have gone. Yeah, so big accident north of Rocky, so much so that the Bruce Highway, at least earlier this morning, was still closed. Probably because I think if that was a fuel tanker, not a tank, as somebody was suggesting last night in the chat in the show last night, it wasn't a tank. It wasn't loaded with ammunition. They don't do that in transport, and even if it was ammunition, it would have been carried on a separate vehicle to begin with. It's not like this truck was being moved into a battleground or open warfare. So it wouldn't have had a magazine in it, much less resupply or anything like that. So, no, I believe it was a fuel bladder, a fuel tanker. And through the accident, there was fire on the side of the road. And if the vehicle or the tank burnt to the ground, and I suspect it would, given the location of where this would be, it's a reasonable distance, and when I say reasonable distance, maybe half an hour, 45 minutes north of Rockhampton. That vehicle would have been heading for Shoalwater Bay or further north up to Townsville. And it's probably burnt a hole in the bitumen. It's probably destroyed the road. And they have been trying to put that back together. That would be my guess. So I haven't heard about any deaths or anything like that. So we'll see what happens. 47 thumbs up. Thank you, folks. That's bloody great. I now know not to have any note. See, now that'll be interesting, because I wonder how many views, because it says there are 88 people watching, 90 people watching now. Oh, yeah, and it actually splits up on the channels when I move up here and tells me where you are. So 70 of you are watching on None 2K. 6 of you are on Voice of Freedom. The Voice of Freedom has 11. On Facebook, under my name, nobody is watching, and under Wake Up, which is a channel that I started for Magna Carta, there is 1. So there you go. I'm learning things every day today. Great stuff. Light damage to the truck. Thanks, Toxic. So it was an Abrams on a low loader, and it was a main battle tank. See, okay. I'm trying to think of why an Abrams main battle tank would be coming out of the area that it came out of North Brisbane. Give me some time to think about that. I haven't seen any vision on it, any news or any coverage at all. But if it is a tank, take my hat off. Beautiful. Happy to be corrected. And it raises more questions than it does give me answers, to be honest, particularly from the area where it came from. And how did it get there? Right. Adash, what do I use to... currently, I'm using StreamYard, mate, the platform that I multi-stream on. And I have the availability for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I think it is, channels. Or, yeah, places that I can go to so I can flick around between them. And I've had to build that up over time because I was forever being taken off. I was forever being banned on YouTube and Facebook for things I was saying. So I developed a range of channels in the background that I thought I might be able to get everybody to subscribe to as well. Not for any, I don't think any of the other ones are monetized in any way. It's only the None 2K channel that's monetized. And that's only because it was the first one up. But I can't monetize any more of them. But I wanted them as backups. So if you aren't subscribed to Voice of Freedom or to The Voice of Freedom, go over and tick on those. And I can tell you that I have 4 more channels just sitting in the background there that have little bits of content on them that, just keep them up. But should everything look like it's going to start to get taken down again, you'll be advised where you can go looking for those and find them too. The thing when you go to set up these streaming things, they can sometimes take a month before they let you do your first stream. So that's if they take you off for a week or 2 weeks, and then it might be you have to reply for something. So it'll be another week before they actually tick you back on again. That has been my experience anyway. Not all the time, but sometimes. It's better to have backups. That's been my experience. Rumble, on the other hand, don't think I've had any content taken down off Rumble. I'm looking at a BitChute thing at the moment. I don't think I can stream live to BitChute, which is the problem. And Project Matilda at the moment are doing a bit of a reset with different things and getting their live streaming capability over onto the main part of the Project Matilda channel. That requires obviously more code writing and technical talking that I'm capable of giving you. So when that's all sorted out, I'm sure we'll be back live streaming on Project Matilda too. It's an important platform, folks. It's Australian home built and made. And if you aren't a member of it already, it costs nothing. You can donate if you'd like, but it costs nothing. And it is a really cool little platform. It's very slick looking, and Daniel is putting an awful lot of work into it to make it the people's platform. So he could do with the people's support. Pop over and say hi. ProjectMatilda.com is the place to do it. Okay. G'day, Stu. Thanks for that. Good on, Wilsio. Yeah, he's... Yes, he is a very beloved old pirate. And tomorrow night, like I say, I'm about to upload this other video, the unboxing. So tomorrow night, you might get to see a completely different side of a beloved old pirate. And a little fat old radio announcer. Could be a very funny night. It is Friday, so hey, listen, we'll just see what happens. Listen, guys, I hope the tank probably got here through the tunnel. Thanks, Brian. I hope you have a bloody good Thursday, and don't forget tonight's show will be over on the Rumble channel. So just simply because of the information we've got in it, I think in certain places, not all of it, but certain places, they're going to really crack the shits on YouTube. So not every topic, but there will be two particularly that I would run the risk of being taken off forever from. So let's not run the risk. Let's just stick it up on Rumble. If you're out on the roads, be safe. You know how it usually finishes today. I think around about now, school time pickup. So just be careful. Reading the news recently, it becomes apparent there are some mothers on the road going to pick up kids who may have had one or two drinks. That would certainly qualify as be careful of those dickheads on the road, folks. Please.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay? Let's ride!
Ah, see, now I meant to turn the camera off. I just saw a question from Crunch, so I'm meant to answer this. Thoughts on the all-new bill to silence people's voices on the topic the government doesn't want you to talk about just before the vote on the voice. Yeah, look, a lot of this, I believe, is theatre. It's meant to wake people up. Even the absolute most brain-numbed of normies must recognize that cannot be allowed to happen, this silencing of speech. So I'm hopeful that it is being used as a severe slap around the head and used profusely moment to try and wake up the normies. Because to have that sort of oversight, anybody who's read 1984 will be shivering and saying, "Oh, I don't know where I've heard that before," and so many other dictators around the world have driven their dissenting media, let's say, they've either shot them, killed them, or they've knackered them completely. That bill cannot be allowed to pass through the government. No representative of the Australian people would dare bring that bill into a parliament. Certainly not in the way that it is shaped now. And I'm sure if it did ever get in, it would be repealed by the people at the very next opportunity, but it would do an awful lot of damage in the short to medium term. I can't believe that the Labor Party, of all people, are trying to put this together. But then again, it's not just the Labor Party, is it? It's all of them. So yeah, let's not carry on about that. No, we will fight for freedom 100% all day, every day. We will fight this, and certainly just between you, me, and the gatepost, as long as you've got an FM radio, I'll always be able to talk to you. And I'm talking to people who have secure, well, they believe to be secure alternate methods of reaching the media, or the mass population rather, using something similar to the internet. And they've said that will be available in the future should it be required to us. So I'm not too concerned about that end of it at the moment. I think what we need to do is not rest on that thought that it's just a play and it's being done just to wake the normies up. So let's see if it wakes the normies up. It requires us to draw the normies' attention to what they are trying to do. Now, some of them are just going to say, "Oh, well, they're all talking shit anyway, so don't let them on. Who cares? Bugger them off." Well, they be the ones we can never save, right? They don't understand what freedom, let alone freedom of speech, means. They have been brainwashed, and they may have been brainwashed to a point, MK Ultra'd to a point, where we've lost them. And unfortunately, we are going to come across a lot of people like that. We need to be aware of it, and we need not to take on any guilt because we can't convince them. Okay? That's important. There are some that we will just never convince. There will be some that we will. There'll be some that'll be half and half, and they'll do their own research, come over later of their own accord. And yes, by all means, celebrate the ones that open their eyes because of what you've done. Bring them in, show them everything, or show them what they can take at a time. But the normies who are never going to see, and things like this bill should have even our worst critics standing up and supporting our opposition of it. Our worst critics should be supporting everybody's opposition of this. But will they? No, because our worst critics are the people that will be sitting in the chairs that decide what is dis and misinformation. And they want those chairs badly because they probably pay a couple $100,000 a year. Talk about dickheads on the road. What about the dickheads in government?